Call the meeting to
Thanks.
order.
I was like, I forgot my phone.
6:03.
Thanks, Gail.
We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher.
Here.
Callaghan.
Here.
Jacoby.
Present.
Scarborough.
Here.
Page is absent with prior notice. Showers.
Here.
Freeman.
Stephanie?
Here, Stephanie.
I am present.
Okay.
Thank you. Olson.
Here.
Okay. Let the record reflect, we do have full quorum. I'm looking for a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Before we do that, one very minor change to the minutes. Under mayor's comments, it references the 2010 Stormwater Master Plan. That has been corrected to the 2011 Stormwater Master Plan.
I move to approve the consent agenda with that one modification.
Second.
Who did
That
that?
could be Linda.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher.
Yes.
Callaghan.
Yes.
Jacoby.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Showers.
Yes.
Freeman.
I don't think she can vote, can she?
Yeah,
No.
oh, I can't vote, correct?
That's
Okay,
correct.
I'm on the phone.
Olson.
Yes.
Okay. Couple of comments from myself. In your package, you had the stormwater master plan projects that were left over from the 2011 stormwater master plan and a projection of a 1/4 cent sales tax estimate. And that was based on the money that we would have pulled in 2025. So I talked about last time we met, it being 7 years. In order for us to cover the majority of the costs, we need to take that to a 10-year sunset. So I'm looking for discussion, motions, whatever.
Is this good? We talked about it last time. Did we make a motion to proceed with trying to get it back on the ballot?
Yes, that's, no, you
I don't think we
didn't,
had any formal motion.
no, there was no formal motion to do that because you wanted to see backup detail.
But I think there's enough information on that showing that to cover the expenses of the projects on the list, we need to go to 10 years to try to cover all the expenses, because those numbers that are on that sheet are in today's money, and we don't know what it's gonna be in 5, 6, 7 years. So a $500,000 project today is probably gonna be $750,000 in 5 or 6 years.
Patrick?
So we have in front of us a piece of paper that has 7 different projects on it.
Yes.
Are these projects all anticipated or expected to be completed in 2026? Is the
No.
goal?
No.
No, okay.
No,
Is the goal to have one of them completed in 26?
20, we would put the, the 20 1/4 cent sales tax on the ballot in August. We'd need a year's worth of money coming in. So the earliest one of those projects would be done would be the fall of 27.
Fall of 27, okay.
And then we just start knocking them out
as the money's available?
Yes.
Or as need determined?
Historically, we've done them by priority.
Does that mean you're not gonna do any in 26?
Probably not, because there's
Not even the 75,000?
there's not money allocated for that, is that correct?
There's money, enough money for one of the smaller ones. The only small one or two that might be done, it might end up only being, the patch spots, depending on what are, there's one that talks about the two intersections where we have to take some core samples to see what's truly going on. If after Ron looks at that information and myself, if it's not as bad as we think it is, we'll probably do spot repairs on it, which would be considerably less money. Just because they're getting kind of bad.
You may have said it before, when did the stormwater sales tax expire?
Was the plan started in 2011?
Oh, no.
This plan,
We started it in 2000 when I came on, and we ran it from 2000 to 2007, and we re-upped it. So it went through 2014 or 15, because it was 7 years each time. And then it was not renewed after that, is that correct? Okay.
Okay, so the last time it was in effect was
2015,
2015.
that's when it sunsetted, and we didn't renew it.
Do these
Oh, yeah,
7
so-
projects reflect current projects that we want to accomplish, or are there additional ones that are not listed here?
These are just what was in the
This is just the
2011.
cleanup of the 2011
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
That basically covers about everything
Okay.
that needs attention in the city as we speak.
just so we have it for the exact numbers, it says here in the master plan that it was 2008, it was approved for another 8 years.
Okay,
And then the current sales tax authorization was scheduled to sunset in 2016.
okay, thank you.
Is it safe to say that like many of these plans weren't worked on between the years of 2016 and 2025, 26?
They were not.
Those on that paper weren't worked on.
Yeah.
It's just the paper of 2011, and it didn't sunset till 2016. What happened in those 5 years?
There were other projects
So you,
that were completed.
yeah, I believe
That
what we had
just aren't
asked for in the
listed on
last meeting is a list of the remaining projects that hadn't been finished. Is that right? That's what this is.
Yeah, because you did 2 big ones last year. Was it?
We did
You did the K.
Artificial
Nail Road,
Kale.
the 3 precast boxes on KL, that was $600,000. The other big project was if you were left Quick Trip, we're going west, the first culvert or bridge that you come to, that was done, but that was quite a few years ago. That was like 4 feet.
That was at South Brookside.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't,
And then we did we did 6 projects that were small, each one of them small, but monetarily, they were close to $500,000. That was Folk Road, 2 spots on River Road, Shell Road, the culvert that was clogged at Chaz Circle. So, yeah.
And did most of the funding come from Road and Street?
No.
It came from stormwater money.
Okay.
That we had.
It was
In the
leftover
books,
tax
per se.
revenue from the
Some of which
sunset.
was tied up in investment like we have now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was from tax.
What's the timetable we need to accomplish as a board in order to like have the appropriate discussions, the needed discussions, educating the public, in order to get it on the,
Ballot
on the
and
ballot
for
in
August,
Yeah.
we got 4 months.
Yes.
So back up August for 4 months. And then that's when we have to tell the election board we're going to put it on the ballot.
When did you say you have to tell the election board?
4 months before August.
4 months before August.
So by the first
So
of
by
May.
April.
By April. And then I think, I don't know if we had gotten the full answer to this question as a board yet, but when we were talking about the tax for police and fire that we were kind of brought up a few months ago, I'd asked the question of like, I haven't been here during a time of us adding a new tax. So I don't really know what the procedure is. Is it just a motion from the board? What's
To
the,
put it on the ballot.
so it just takes a motion from the board?
It's not you don't have to go through a public hearing
Okay,
because ultimately at the polls, the residents decide.
it's just a normal, simple majority from the board. And then, I don't know if some of the people who have been here longer than I have, traditionally, is this something where you try to really educate the voters and get a consensus from constituents before we make a motion to put it on, or we make a motion that we want to have this put, on the,
I can tell you how we
Ballot.
did it while I was in office before. We actually did a 1-sheet summary and went to the wards and talked to people about it, trying to educate them about the need and how much it would impact their pocketbook. So it was high touch back then. I don't see that it would be any different this time around.
and this would be after the board had approved
That's
to bring it onto the ballot. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, in between getting it put on the ballot and voting time.
And voting time. Okay.
So your time frame would be April to August that we would be out talking to people. But the other thing in our favor coming up is that we will have a new website that we can put this kind of information on and people can tap on it and read about it. So that comes due, the change comes due on February 23rd.
For the website.
Absolutely. Thanks to Lisa and Sarah.
And I'm not sure if this is already in here. I'm bad with numbers, but do we have, do we have money still currently in the stormwater account, or we have no money in stormwater? It's zero. Okay. And right now, if we wanted to work on any of these improvements, like assuming that we didn't bring this to the ballot or it didn't get passed, where would this money come from? Or would we just be like, well, it's obviously if there's an emergency and if something breaks, but if we're looking just for improvement's sake, for preventative, where would that money come from right now? Where could we pull it from?
Capital improvements and anything in Chris's budget that he budgeted for this year.
Okay. And then that was, if we had anything in the budget, that would just be maintenance, I would assume, for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. And then capital improvements.
Yes.
So we've got a pretty big schedule for our capital improvements already too.
Very much so.
All right.
Okay, is there,
I'll make a motion that we go forward with putting this quarter cent on the August ballot for stormwater improvements.
Second.
I need it for a sunset.
So a 10-year sunset.
So it'll sunset on the 11th year, so that everybody is clear about that, okay? All right. And Patrick, you stand with your second?
Sunset.
Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. I think that this is a good thing to keep some of the infrastructure continuing in the city. Okay, the other thing is, and this is my fault, Becky Gold submitted her resignation for the collector, and she did it in December 10th. So I'm recognizing that at this point, Becky is going to run for Ward 1.
We need a motion to accept the resignation.
I think that would be in order.
I move we accept Becky Goltz's resignation letter
Second.
as collector.
Okay, any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, any public comments, please? Alderman comments? John?
Matthew, myself, and Mayor went up to the county courthouse and had a conversation with county administrator, auditor, and one of the administrative services folks, talking about what we receive from the county at tax time, when taxes, real estate, personal property taxes are paid. We currently don't get a listing of who's paid. We just get a lump sum. And we're asking for a breakdown, just so we know who's current, who's delinquent, and we can help them if we need to go, let's say, prod residents to pay their taxes. They're working in a new system because of the senior tax relief, and they're not quite sure what the old system is capable of doing, but they're working on that, and we told them that the city would be willing to be a guinea pig for them for testing purposes. That conversation went really well with them, and we're looking forward to working with them more. And hopefully they'll be able to provide the city with the data that we're looking for to be beneficial. I think that pretty much covered the.
You want to add anything, Matthew?
No, I think you said it well.
All right. So,
I got one more item.
okay,
We lightly touched on short-term rentals at the last meeting. And I'd like to see if any of the aldermen have any more comments or have a desire to look into or adopt a short-term rental ordinance so that we can, I don't want to say police, but so we can keep track of and police potential problems. And some of the real estate in town is not in ideal shape, and it would allow us with that short-term rental to potentially do inspections on some of those places. Does anybody have any comments? Is that a good idea?
For short-term rentals, are you talking about people renting out their houses, so like Airbnb, things like that.
Yeah,
Like for the soccer
Airbnb,
stuff.
VRBOs.
Because right now, so the suggestion would be, right now, we do not allow it.
No, there's
Right now.
nothing on the books.
We don't have an ordinance.
Okay, so people are allowed to do it.
Basically, it's just every person for themselves. If
Okay.
they want to, they can, which
Okay.
it's not always a bad thing, but at times, there's a need for monitoring.
Yeah.
Policing is the wrong word for it,
Yeah.
but policing, because it's not like the police department's gonna be camped out on their doorstep, but it's, for tracking, because I know some people in Kansas City that have neighbors that, short-term rent their house, and it's a huge party problem for the neighborhood.
So we
Sorry.
could do one of two ways.
No.
We could create an ordinance that does not allow it, or we could create an ordinance that does allow it with parameters. So
Yeah,
I want to know which way you guys want to go.
Is this an open discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I find it interesting that there's a lot of pushback. Who's to say that everyone coming to Pleasant Valley is for a party? I mean, there are people who come here who have families, and this is more of a family-oriented place. But to limit someone's ability to do short-term real estate or even to do long-term rentals, we might be hindering our own selves in the opportunity of creating some type of incentive for the city itself.
How would the city benefit from it, Stephanie?
Well, you get some more exposure. A potential benefit of it is people will know that there is a safe neighborhood, quality. It's basically a good tourist component. I'm sorry, my little boy may interrupt us because he's sick. So, it's just, I'm just thinking, if we're so rigid, that we may run into challenges if we try to do other things in the future.
Well, some of the things that you can do if you allow this is you can create a fee, an annual fee, and they would have to re-up the fee every year, just like a business license.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, if you were to have an Airbnb profile, I mean, that doesn't count as having a business.
No,
And it operates similarly.
yes.
And most of them would probably make more money than I would in my business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to it, but I think it needs to be regulated.
And
That's my opinion.
you can put, you can define the short-term rental, like less than a month, or, more, 31 days.
I think that would be great, a month to 3 months. I mean, I get it, we need to find alternative solutions to rejuvenate or create revenue, but it shouldn't hinder an owner to rent out their home temporarily. Don't we have a lot of rental companies or owners that rent their properties out here already?
Yes.
Yes, we
We
do.
have more renters, correct? Is that statistically correct? I
Yes.
just want to confirm that.
Yes.
And then how would we approach them too, if they're doing 6-month lease? I'm just thinking about the apartments on Pleasant Valley in the back, Orchard Street. In the back, there's a lot of apartments there. So are we going to tack on a fee for them when they do a sublease for 3 months or 6 months or a month-to-month lease? Are we looking at it at a full perspective? Or are we just targeting people who might want to do temporary things like the football event?
We can only do short-term rentals of people's house.
Yeah, renting personal residence, short term.
Is that based on our city's class, or is that?
Yes.
And I will say, I don't think the scope of short-term rentals is massive in Pleasant Valley.
No.
I just searched one site, Airbnb, and there's one address inside of Pleasant Valley that is listed on the site. There are other sites, so I don't think it's a massive, I don't think it's a massive population. And then additionally, we have existing laws and statutes on public nuisance and other ways that we can help control and affect partying behavior or speeding through our streets. Some of the other negative impacts that people have. People are still bound by following the rules of the city. So I don't think the right path would be to ban them.
I agree.
I think a better path would be maybe a nominal annual fee, something mild that lets the city know, like that it's there. Make sure that we have safety nets set up in place and that it helps offset any potential police calls that may happen. That's it. That's my take. And we have a police official here, so I like to get a professional's opinion as well.
Jared, step forward. Give your opinion.
Pat requested it, so we gotta give it.
Sorry.
The FIFA World Cup is gonna be a nightmare. Whether or not it would be a problem if you allow it, it's up in the air. It'd be a 50-50 shot of who you got coming in here. So I don't really have all that opinion. We'll be here no matter what. So I don't have an opinion one way or the other really.
To tack on to what you're saying and what Pat was saying, that was the point I was gonna make, is that I think a lot of this is preemptive thinking with FIFA. So it's not just, these are what people are doing right now. We have one resident who's renting out their house. It's okay if we end up having 5, 10, 20 residents. When we went from 1 to like all of a sudden in 1 week, we have 20 people renting out their homes. What impact could that have on the city? And that's something that maybe we want to look at and just preemptively. And then I think potentially if we have some education around it, we do have an ordinance and we talk about it, it could be something that more people would do. They knew it was an option as well. I mean, I know that was something Stephanie mentioned about with the FIFA Cup, having some type of presentation, educating residents about how they could rent their houses in a safe way. So having an ordinance built around it, I think does put up those guardrails. So that way, if we do want to either encourage our residents to safely rent out their homes or in limited capacity rent out their homes or rent out a room, we have some guardrails to lean back onto.
Okay. Linda.
Couldn't you just make them get like a business type thing?
A business license?
Yes, so you have to have a business license to do this.
That's too close to apartment rentals. People that do apartment rentals, and we need to make a clear
Basically,
decision.
you go to their house, they're probably gonna tell you it's one of their family members. So I mean.
Well, but
anyway.
if they're advertising it publicly, then it would be on
Well, maybe. but
Airbnb
not-
or something,
That doesn't mean you don't have family members come stay. I mean, in the summer, I may have my grandkids for a week or so. I mean, big deal. Some of them, you know, but I don't charge them.
How about I bring you back at the next meeting a components of an ordinance that would address this, and then we can tear that apart, add to it if we want. How's that?
I think that's a great idea. And then my other question was if we could look at other cities, neighboring cities, and see if they have similar ordinances in place. And we could either mirror an ordinance that they have or compare an ordinance that we're looking at to neighboring cities' ordinances. Or if other cities don't have ordinances, then that might be a considered factor as well. But,
Can I interject if you don't mind? On the guidelines of if we should proceed with this, if there is an ordinance, there needs to be at least like a meeting for an hour or less so people know their rights and responsibilities when they do agree to do temporary housing for their homes. I think that will cover us, the city itself, and then make the people who are involved doing a temporary housing event more accountable if we choose to do an annual, and then I'm curious, is it a percentage or is it a flat rate? And then how would that look like every year? Is that 1% increase? Is that 10% increase? Just curious, because then if it's cutting into the profit margins of someone trying to do this temporarily, then it might cancel itself out over time.
So
Okay.
Stephanie, I think we're going to bring forward a model ordinance for us to review. And I think that's the point that we can really tear into, okay, does it have an increasing fee? Is it a low enough fee? What are the education requirements around it? Like that's, I think we're gonna get some more information. This is just kind of testing the waters on
If we
what
want
the
to
board
allow
would
it.
want to see.
Can we look at other cities that are similar sizes or larger and how they're going about doing it? I know Kansas City, Missouri had a couple of meetings on that, where they have a site online specifically. I'm using the World Cup if you want to do a temporary residential. I'm just curious if there are any smaller towns who are considering it and are putting it on the books. I have a feeling a lot of people aren't doing that or they're not aware of it. That's what's going on in the community.
We'll dig up what we can get our hands on. So do you want a motion and a second to go forward to bring back components of an ordinance?
Do you need a motion?
I don't think we need a motion.
Okay,
Just through the discussion to bring a sample ordinance in so we can actually see verbiage
okay,
of what another municipality is using and see if we want to entertain that, if we want to leave it as it is, if we want to make changes, additions, subtractions to it. And we can rip it apart at the next meeting to see if it's something we want to even entertain doing.
all right. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yep.
Great. Okay, John, are you finished?
Yeah, I think that's all I have.
We're still in alternate comments?
Yeah.
Moving
we-
right along.
We're making up for last meeting.
Do we have old business? Okay. Matthew, you want to go first?
Sure. I provided a written report, so if there's any questions about any of that, I'm happy to take those. One thing I had to add, the last meeting, the board approved a funding agreement. And for that, we needed to set up a separate bank account for that CID, for that deposit. And I went to Hawthorne and they said, for me to do that, the only other thing they needed from me was they needed me to show them in board meeting minutes where the board had voted to approve the creation of that account. So apparently every time we open an account, we're gonna have to go through this process, but that's fine. But I would request that someone make a motion for us to open a CID bank account at Hawthorne Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right. Fire department.
I did not have a written report, but I just have a couple things. One, information through the HERO Fund, I did submit a grant proposal for 4 radios at a cost of, call it $34,000, and it's a 50% match. And waiting to see here on that.
And say that, the name of that grant again?
HERO Fund,
H-E,
HERO.
okay.
And then the other thing I have is, not sure what bucket to put this in, but our SCBA compressor, which we use to fill our air bottles, We need to have a hose that gets us clean air from the outside. It's particularly tough in the winter time when we start our equipment, start our saws, do all that. And that, the air that this machine draws from is right now it's from inside the building, and we won't want that piped out.
Okay,
Okay. Is that something we can do in-house? Is that, Chris, is that something you can do?
There's specific calculations and specs and all that on what size piping and how it has to be done. I talked to Dave Null. He does the yearly maintenance and inspection on that system. When the building was originally built, WSKF didn't call for outside air, which I was kind of surprised. This Dave Null, I forget the name of the company. I have a sheet on it, something like that. I didn't know. But anyway, he's at Oak Road or Green Valley. Fell, that's the company. When I talked to him about it, he said that it doesn't require the outside air, but he said it doesn't hurt to have it draw outside air. He said that system being in that room with that self-closing door and all, he said he's not ever had a CO2 issue with that specific piece of apparatus. But their company does do install on that. So I was gonna have him give me a bid and see what that bid comes in at. And if it's one that requires 3 bids or being publicly bid.
So it's not something that you could do, your guys could do?
I could do it if somebody just to calculate the pipe sizing and
I
stuff.
mean, would that guy be able to calculate it for you?
Probably, sure. We could go that direction too.
I don't want to spend any more money on it than we absolutely need to, because if it's something that could be done in-house, I mean, by somebody in the city, it's gonna save a couple grand anyway, probably, maybe a little more. If he could run the numbers on it.
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what it would cost. I mean, I could tell you what the material would cost, but I'll get some numbers.
Yeah, if you can get some numbers and
bring it back by next meeting,
yeah.
please.
And then maybe we can go forward and get it done by the end of the month or something.
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
Chief.
Thank you. Sarah?
I do not have anything.
What?
Well, technically personnel.
Oh, okay.
We'll hit that in personnel.
All right.
He didn't want to arm wrestle me for it, so I took it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Scared.
yeah, he was afraid.
Sarah?
I provided my report. Besides that, I don't really have anything that's new in the report.
Okay.
New year.
We are tracking a new prosecutor and a new judge this year. Is that true?
I don't know.
I thought
Third judge
there was an
retired.
age out.
Yeah, our judge retired. His last court hearing will be July 13th. He turned 75 on July 14th.
And old people can't judge.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay.
I keep a fifth on that. Yes, but we are looking at that for the next year.
The board would have to approve a judge and or a prosecutor that would be brought forward by yours truly.
Okay. I just want to get a lay of the land of what's coming up in the next couple of months. So it sounds like we will be hearing more about it.
You will.
I'm just a little premature.
Anything else?
Thank
Good?
Thank you.
you.
Public Works.
I provided a couple of pieces for information purposes in the packet for you. Just giving you a heads up. I am going to get a larger detail sheet of the radius at the intersection. And
At the intersection of Sobey and Pleasant Valley Road?
yes, that's,
Thank you.
that's in your packet. Ron and I and the ARCO folks are working on that. I'm getting ready to call on locates to totally confirm what utilities are in the area. And we provided phone numbers for all the top utility contacts to ARCO to get that rolling. So more to come on that. I also just wanted to thank the fire department crew for cooking us breakfast Saturday morning during the storm.
I wasn't there.
I
wasn't invited.
Take the win.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you've been out there since what, 3 a.m. that day? Yeah. It's good to be able to come inside into the warm. I did have a question on the schematics, on the drawings. I know we're gonna get more. I see a red line that is there at the southeast corner. That says limits of construction. That's not where the new, like, curb is gonna be, or the road is gonna be.
No.
That is easements for, like, doing the construction on that section.
Yeah, that's how far they can move their stuff, but also staying inside the easement area.
Okay.
And then they also are fighting the grade drop off.
Yeah.
In that radius corner.
I know it says a red box, it's kind of hard to read, but it says existing primary curb to remain on that, on the curb that is closest to the intersection. So I guess I'm just not able to visualize what this project's gonna look like when it's done. When it says the curb's not gonna move, that's the primary thing we wanted to move, right?
Well, so that's how Ron designed it, and under his design, it was to tear out the current concrete and to put it at 8 inches for truck traffic. And under his design, which was at that time agreed to by Tim also to fund and pay for it, they were only beefing up the thickness of that concrete to allow a truck to drive over it. Whereas now, if you look at it, it's cracked and busted.
So we're just talking about thicker concrete?
Yeah.
And the moving of utilities?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ARCO now is looking at it and potentially changing the whole design. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So providing you guys with that was just to show the intersection that we're talking about. I know if you say, or, tell you what the intersection is or the radius area.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know what that is, but that gives more of what was on the books.
Yeah.
As of now, as a detail. My feelings are that design that you're looking at there is going to change. And that was part of the information process too. Also to inform you that the owners on that bill aren't feeling like they should pay for it because there aren't any trucks going. Their trucks are going out on Pleasant. So that's another piece of the puzzle. Whereas Tim, not being required to, offered up to pay for it.
Okay, got it.
And that was in the conversation in the meeting here. I think, well, both you were in it,
Mhm.
Green was in it. I haven't seen anything on paper that says to the contrary.
I think we just need to be careful because truly from everything they've submitted, they're not gonna hex anything other than an automobile out around that corner.
Correct.
So I don't wanna put undue pressure on them that makes them pull back and say, well, maybe we just don't wanna do this project. Something like that.
Right.
And we have a business park that pulls in how many trucks a day?
There's
So
There's 10 to 15
why would you penalize a potential new business when you got a business park here that has not paid for any of it?
Right.
So I think y'all better think on that.
We just want to be careful on what we do, but I think because we talked a little earlier about the utilities, if we can get the utility companies to move that pole at no charge to the city, that's going to be the biggest benefit, to get that out of the way.
Oh, without a doubt, that would be a huge expense. And as long as it's the city that's requesting this project to those utility companies, they very well should move those utilities at no cost to the city. Whereas if ARCO approached it or anybody else, they would definitely charge for it.
Yeah, because definitely gonna benefit the city as opposed to ARCO for getting that completed. So
Absolutely.
if we spearhead with the utilities, that's gonna be beneficial to everybody.
Okay, Julia is not here. Serenity, next.
I had a written report in everyone's packets. Were there any initial questions on it before we start discussion about the sabbatical policy? Awesome, well then I'll just jump into any discussion before I go ahead and make a motion for the sabbatical leave policy for the police department. Did anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to discuss? Awesome, that was easy. All right, I will go ahead and make a motion. Oh, yep, go ahead.
A question. I know you guys talked about personnel meeting. I just want to do everything we can to confirm we're not going to be unloading a bunch of overtime money to cover the cost of the sabbatical.
Correct. No, it'll be little to no cost to the city. Whether it's dispatch or police, myself and Captain Kramer will cover what shifts are needed. And then also when we get staffed, we'll have a day car, a night car, and then that swing shift that can go to either day or nights, depending on where they're needed to cover that rotation. So there'll be little to no cost to implement this policy.
And then you said right now you have 4 people that would qualify.
I think there's maybe only
3.
Yeah.
So if we implement,
Dispatcher will implement coming up in another year, I think. And she'll there 4 years in a year.
okay.
And so as far as timeline goes, eligibility, like once approved, you're looking for those initially eligible people to have their sabbatical within the next 2 years.
Correct.
So like one signature plus 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how many other cities do this?
Right now, I know of Smithville and Clay County. The policy you have in front of you is pretty much Clay County's. I tweaked it a little bit. But like I said, Liberty and I believe Gladstone is looking to add to their policies as well. I haven't confirmed that, but that's what I've been hearing.
Thank you. And then encourage anyone we had the meeting live streamed, so if anyone wants to hear his full comments, we had a really in-depth discussion about the sabbatical policy, so it's all on the YouTube link. I know we don't have many people here live, but everyone else will be welcome to go watch that as well. It's on the YouTube or anyone watching live right now. So I'll go ahead and make a motion for the board to adopt the proposed sabbatical leave policy for the police department and authorize the necessary updates to the employee handbook to implement the policy.
Second.
Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
No.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay. Patrick, finance?
So you will be getting charts in the next board packet meeting that will be reflective of January. However, Matthew pulled some numbers associated with our stock performance in MOSIP, so our liquid series investment accounts. Across all 5 of our accounts for the last 4 months, we have generated $29,000 in revenue just from the interest and dividends on those investments. Fantastic numbers, way better than the $400, $500, $600 that we were getting in savings accounts. So 29,000 is definitely usable. And I'm looking to make sure that we use that money very wisely. Yeah, thank you. That's all that I had.
Patrick, when you guys reconvene finance, would you please take a look at taking on an updated audiovisual
Yes.
package?
I owe City Clerk Chapman a list of specs that I would like to see in a professional audio video system in this room. Those includes not like radio enabled microphones, but like sphere mics that would capture all voices and doesn't rely on somebody picking this up and talking into it. And it would allow for a better camera rather than just a little tripod thing sitting there, so that people can actually see and better interact with the board. So I owe those recommendations to Matthew. I will make sure he gets those so that we can put together a proper RFP to get a properly spec system.
Okay, thank you so much.
That would be hardwired too, right? It would be battery operated.
Oh yeah, hardwired everything. We're not doing this. Let's replace batteries left and right, and built-in speakers. So right now we have one speaker sitting down on the ground. We take that out, and then they make ceiling-mounted speakers. So we would just put like 4 of them, probably one per corner, in that space, and that would help carry audio from the field mics here to back there, and for the live stream.
You've got plenty of space above those ceiling fans.
Oh yeah, and speakers are not low that high, so
Yeah, you're fine.
beautiful.
It would be helpful because I know like people complain that with this speaker right here, like if you're sitting in the back, you almost can't hear it.
Yeah.
It almost does nothing. But if we make it any louder, then people sitting right here are gonna be deafened by it, so.
I know, I just tested it out.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to new business. In your packets, you've got the people that are coming into our city for the R&L carrier property. And they are the Ross family. They come from the northeast section of the city. And it's a 3-generation family. The first generation started Custom Truck One Source, which is down over where the Arco Steel facility was. They bought that whole 186-acre place in the 90s. They dealt themselves out of that 30 years later to Nesco Holdings, and have been waiting out their non-compete clause. We actually have a portion of that family that's been in Pleasant Valley for at least 4 years, operating out of a building that's next to Amico, with the big fence around it. And that is what's coming into the R&L carrier property. That's called R+M Rentals. They are a woman-owned business. They're sisters, and they're starting the 2nd generation of this family in the city. So as you can see in your packets, the kind of trucks that they're going to produce, they're going to rent and lease and sell trucks up to 90,000 pounds. And the city gets sales tax off of the leasing, the rentals, and the parts.
And those would all be point of sale transactions within the city.
Yes. Yeah. A new truck that they would fully construct here works just like when you purchase a car. And it goes to wherever that truck goes. But the rentals and the lease portion does not.
Gotcha.
They gave some projections, a month or so ago, that their low-end projections over $300,000 a year in sales tax revenue to the city.
So look for the chart that says incentive assumptions summary. Looks like this. There's a big table in the middle that talks about the business that they anticipate earning money through, broken down by type. So new vehicles, new equipment, used vehicles, used equipment, parts, service, rentals. The very first column says year one projected sales. That's how much they think that they are going to earn in sales, like pure gross receipts on those items. Some of these things, the city is not able to receive funds on. Like, we're not able to generate or receive tax money on it. New vehicles is one of those things. So we see $0 unless a member of Pleasant Valley purchases one of the vehicles from there, or
Like the Public Works Department.
like Public Works. The same thing with new equipment, same thing with used vehicles, same thing with used equipment. There are limitations on taxation that prevent us from receiving money. That's why that very far right column says 0. However, there are two categories where we have the opportunity to receive sales tax. That is in parts, that's in rentals. They estimate that they will earn $8 million in sales, and 90% of those sales will be within the city limit, will be local. So the total sales revenue, 7.2. That 7.2 million would be subject to our local sales tax rates. So marginally 300,000-ish between both parts and rentals. So that combined $9.6 million at our tax rates would be about 300,000 for general fund sales tax revenue. These are entirely estimates. Very first year could be fantastic. Everybody's hopping off the roof. Hopefully not. We don't need broken femurs. Or it could be a little under projection as well. So this is their best estimate at creating very conservative numbers for us to be able to, conservative estimates, but it could be worse than conservative estimates. But it could be way better than conservative estimates as well. I just want to throw out that this is a guess. So from a taxing perspective, this is a lot of what drives the incentives that the city is willing to offer to actually develop the land and turn it into something besides just an empty parking lot.
Thank you. I do want you to know that R Plus M Rentals has given us a business license every year that they've come into the city. The one for 2025, their gross receipts were over $1 million. So it looks like they're well on their way to doing what they have promised us to do, that they're going to do.
And just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, you said that this is the same type of business that they ran before?
Yes, but they cherry-picked parts of the business to bring here because it's a smaller area.
Have you seen that at 435 and 24 highway, all those trucks there? That's what it is.
Yes, that's what the.
And they do very well. I used to deliver those trucks. They do very well.
They're a good company.
Yeah, and that's my main question would be if historically they've maintained having parts and rentals, be a consistent part of their business? Because that would be the only fear, is if it's a business where we're relying on only a portion of their sales, that if eventually it turned into, okay, we're really only selling new equipment and now we're not making any money off of it. So do we know if historically this type of business long-term does a lot of part sales and rentals?
They do as many rentals as they do anything else, or
Okay.
more rentals.
They do rentals, but they also do service work. They bring the trucks in from all over the United States back in here, repair it, send it back out. So.
That would be the parts.
That's the parts,
Well, that's, yeah, but they.
Because
They move a lot of trucks.
why is the service, not,
There's no sales tax on service.
well, if it's a service that's performed within the city,
Not in the state of Missouri, we don't pay.
because it's a vehicle?
Because it's a service. Do you charge
On
them
labor?
sales tax?
There's no.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's not sales tax versus,
There's a list of taxable services and non-taxable services published by the Missouri Department of Revenue. It's a massive list. I've read through it like twice, unfortunately. Save yourself the hassle, don't do it. But it talks about services that are exempt from performing sales tax. Like you do not have to collect sales tax when you perform this list of services. Many of them are IT related. That's where I fall in. But there are many other services as well. It is entirely possible that they reviewed the Department of Revenue taxing guidelines as well and said this service falls within the exception.
yeah, I'm sure.
It's not a black and white service can be taxed or service can't be taxed. There are this gray area that's outlined by the Department of Revenue.
And yes, they have done rentals for years.
Okay.
Depends on which ones are owned by.
And it's really safe.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to just point out, we're talking about incentives that the city would provide to R&M as well to undertake this construction project. They're investing something northwards of $20 million.
That's correct.
In this piece of land. So it is not an insignificant amount of money. Some of the concessions that the city is providing is when the city purchases equipment and purchases parts and materials, we don't, as a municipality, pay sales tax. What is part of the package that is being considered and being proposed is to allow and extend that sales tax exemption to R&M as well for the purchase of their materials. So they would not be subject to sales tax on the purchase of their parts materials for the construction of the building. That is very normal incentive for economic development. It's not abnormal, and it helps support their development efforts. There's also 2 pages that I wanted to point out. These look like very big, giant charts. At the top, it says Chapter 100 abatement. So in addition to being exempted from sales tax, that does not impact Pleasant Valley, by the way. Most of this would, they're purchasing materials and building materials from outside of Pleasant Valley. Sorry, I haven't seen the lumber yard here in Pleasant Valley, or the steel mill. But it would impact other non-Pleasant Valley businesses or municipalities that would be collecting that sales tax. Again, that's a very normal thing. But on abatement, one of the other incentives that we've discussed is abating the property taxes for the business. So as you improve the land, the value of it goes up. And over time, that your taxation base becomes greater as the value increases on the land. And so what this 20-year tax abatement would be is creating a cap on, they would be taxed at the existing property value right now for the next 10 years, and then at 50% of the newly appraised value for the following 10 years. This chart right here under the pilots column, we'll show you what the city would receive in property tax. Pilot stands for payment in lieu of tax. So 25,000 is what we get from the property tax, from the value of it right now. So we would cap it at that for the next 10 years. And then after 10 years, it would be 50% of the newly established taxation amount. And so that's the estimated $135,000 that they would start paying as pilot tax, as pilot payments. So, I'm sorry, that was a lot. It's still jumbled around in my brain too. But at the end of the day, the concessions and the value that we are providing to R&M, I think is commensurate to the value that they provide to the city, both in the form of they're doing something with the land, fantastic, and the taxation base of sales tax that we would receive from that business.
And there will be no underground storage tanks on that property. So any gasoline sales will come directly from Quick Trip, which helps another business in area. So that's what we've been working on, people. Any questions? Comments?
Yes, I do. And I'm not sure if we need more further discussion. What I heard is that, the company R&M would be able to get 10 years of the tax rate, based on like years. Is that correct?
It's not locking in the tax rate, it's locking in the assessed value of the property.
Can you define what a property is?
Sorry, you broke up there. Can you repeat that?
Can you define assessed value is?
Oh, assessed value?
Give me some examples. Yeah.
Think about your own personal property tax. If you have a vehicle that you purchased for $40,000, at the beginning of every year, you will receive a personal property tax bill where they will say, hey, your vehicle's property is now $25,000. We will assess that amount of your value at a tax rate of 0.5%.
A better way of looking at it might be your home, because your home, if you were to continue to build additions to your home and improve the way your home looks, it would continue to become more and more valuable, so that your tax that you would pay on your home would become much, much higher, especially if you were doing massive improvements on, a piece of property, which is what they'll be doing, versus a homeowner is doing small improvements as their home goes on. Hopefully, they're doing improvements on it, but we're basically telling them what we're assessing it as now, the value of it now, we're going to lock that in because they're going to be putting millions and millions of dollars worth of extra value into that property.
Yeah, because they're looking at, is it like $30 million to build the building and redo all the parking lot and everything? So yeah, they're looking at more than doubling the value of the property with the building on it.
In a very short time frame.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're locking in that assessed value for 10 years before they have to start paying on the new assessed value, which will be, instead of the, what is it? 25 million.
Well, no, the current value is like 25,000.
Yeah, that's the taxes.
The taxes from it, yeah.
The assessed value is like 363,000 or something like that. So that would probably go to, the assessed value would probably go to $1 million or more. And then they would be taxed on that valuation.
For 10 years. And then at that point, do they get the opportunity to do something similar of a pilot, or would it just, okay, now you pay taxes normally at that point?
It sunsets after 20 years.
Okay, and there's no ability for them to, are they capable of asking for a future pilot, or is it just because this is a one-time
They can always ask.
Okay,
Yeah, it can be, there's no, I don't believe in non-lawyer Patrick, opinion. I don't think there's any restriction on asking for additional,
Okay.
Tax abatements.
but then it's obviously up to the board and to the city at that point.
Double check with our lawyer on that statement first, but.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was something that was limited to like, this is only for new construction, for new improvements. I wasn't sure if it was a limited thing.
Typically, it is. It's for the new
Okay.
construction
Like
phase.
high value
Can I-
things.
When everyone's done, may I please ask a question?
Okay,
Okay, so my other question is, since it's a trucking company, it was mentioned that there's second generation of doing this. With the current inheritance of the properties that they do have, do they do any environmental safety, i.e. air quality around it, such as pavement, pavers, to ensure that the environment is still intact? And could you give examples of what you do at your current facility? If I would greatly appreciate it, unless this is not the appropriate time to ask for it. Good question.
We could absolutely ask. We don't have any representatives from that organization here, so I can't say that we know, but we can certainly ask and get information.
Well, and they have to follow all
Okay,
of
and
the Missouri laws that are in place for environmental studies when making any business.
And they have additional ordinances and laws to follow through DNR, through the MS4 program, and through what you all adopted 2 meetings ago for some of the stormwater runoff and other items through APWA, which is American Public Works Association.
So then my other question, since it's a rental and a trucking area, we have a busy highway with noise. And then we have a police academy where you have a lot of noise too. Can we also add I'm just trying to understand air quality as well as impact of noise, and how they have done that before. If you need to come back, I would love to hear more how they have successfully or unsuccessfully made steps to ensure that there's no really increase in air, what I would say, noise pollution, air quality, and any environmental quality. The reason I say that, if it's a trucking company, there's diesel. And with those parts per million in the air, different types of things, they will drift like Ford does. You can definitely smell Ford in the summertime. My concern with the commingling of the fumes could lead to, could lead to potential health issues like asthma and other things, for example. So I'd like to know more, and I know I just heard they're not there, but I would like to learn more how they have ensured that their plants do not impact the community surrounding them.
Okay.
And lastly, we're dealing with an older community, and the reason why I say that is because with older communities, they're going to be a little bit more sensitive to different type of elements that are introduced into this type of environment.
Are you still talking about air quality?
Yeah, so I'm talking about air quality. Do you usually at your site have an air quality sensor or some way of tracking the air quality? I assume you have one for indoors because that's kind of standard, but what about outside when you have this clean of diesel or any type of, we get that with Quick Trip, but at how much, if there, I guess what I'm trying to understand is how much exposure will the citizens of Pleasant Valley have with constant changes in trucking activities with the company.
Okay,
I think the answer is we could absolutely ask all those questions. We'll get what their plan is, what their data is, and what their research shows, and what the regulations are that they have to build and abide by. So it's a real concern. I think through our public works, our building inspector, we can help hold a high standard for that.
They're gonna all be EPA standards.
Yep.
So
Say that again?
all of the standards that have to be met are Environmental Protection Agency, that's a federal level.
Yeah.
And they have to meet and be under those figures.
I respect what you're saying, and sometimes the EPA can have substandard expectations. Because I worked on a research project for air quality and doing subpar EPA things. I just want to make sure in the documentation and the processing of this company into the area that part of environmental impact of stormwater runoff to air quality is included quarterly or once a month and compiled, so we can look at the trends of how much exposure that we are getting and combined with I-35 and Ford. I just really would like to understand that process and how this will be a synergistic process, and we can meld success and tout that too. I'm just curious what's been done before. Thanks. Just my comments. If it can be duly noted, if Matthew's taking notes for questions in the future with the company, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
all right. Any other comments? Okay, we've got one other piece of business here, and that is taking Council Bill 3630. I need a motion on that to put it on the first and place it on the second.
I think we need a reading on that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matthew.
An ordinance approving an agreement between the city of Pleasant Valley, Missouri and Gilmore and Bell PC for Chapter 100 plan assistance related to project funding.
I move to pass this on the first reading, place it on the second reading.
Second.
Okay, any discussion about this? Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Okay. And let's take Council Bills.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No. Yes.
Read the title of the ordinance.
An ordinance approving an agreement between the city of Pleasant Valley, Missouri and Gilmore and Bell PC for Chapter 100 plan assistance related to project funding.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, move we pass Bill 3630 as ordinance 3629.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
All right, the motion's approved. How about a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Jacoby,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate it.